Hello and welcome to the all-new call-in show, Belief Battles, a weekly show ready to take your calls about religion, atheism, and secularism, featuring co-hosts, atheist and international VTuber Teo el Ateo, and Mark Peralta, an ex-evangelical pastor, now atheist. So without further ado, Belief Battles.
Call 1-866-696-6698.
Show where we're promoting. I'm getting a little feedback or echo, I should say. Oh, okay. I think I'm still picking it up. It's coming back on me. That's weird. Well, I mean, it's still coming back. I'm getting it. So if you want to keep going, I'm not really sure what I have open, but it's just completely new. It's not new. So no one is. Can people hear me? You can say.
Well, I think now they can hear me, but it's going to be weird. Probably you can hear my voice twice. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is going to be kind of strange, but that's how first episodes go by. And maybe you can mute me on StreamYard so you cannot. You don't have to. Oh no, you cannot do that. Sorry, man. I have no idea what is going. How we're going to fix this. But anyways, remember that you can call us through the show, and we're going to be happy to hear you in here. And you know what? Maybe I can kind of fix this temporarily. There. Now you should be able to hear only me, and you shouldn't hear the feedback. Is that working? Post it
I
on
mean,
mind.
try speaking again.
Can you hear me? You should be able to hear me now, and you shouldn't hear the echo.
Yeah, no, I can still hear it. It's got an echo to it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that's because of the way how we're working with the audio, with the call-in studio show. So for now, this apparently will be the only way how people can hear us, and we're going to hear our voices twice. It's going to be an interesting experience.
I guess so. So,
And
for
yes,
those of
sir.
you that are wondering what is going on in here, again, we're Belief Battles. We are a weekly call-in show where we are promoting ongoing dialogue with theists, with believers from all different kinds of perspectives, and we want to talk about their beliefs, particularly those that relate to God and their religion. And our goal with this channel is to provide a safe space where they can call us and put their beliefs or their arguments to some test, right? To some, um, put it up for to see if they can handle um, some reasoning, some different perspective, perhaps. So, if you are that kind of person that you find yourself where you have some doubts or you wish to convert us atheists back to Christianity or whatever else, feel free to dial 1-866-696-6698, and we're here to take your calls. And so we're gonna do this live. And Tell, by the way, my echo is gone. So whatever changed between then and now, it's fixed.
Oh, it's gone for you. I hear you twice, and it's crazy, but it's okay. It's cool. I decided to keep it like this, and it's you to the calling studio that we have on the background. But it's okay. We can. And what does Anton mean by Mark sounds good? What about me? Do I sound good? And yeah, I before we start receiving calls, I want to say hi to the people in the chat. Vegan, atheist, and more. You are amazing. Thank you for being here. Censorship, welcome to the club, sir. Well, be very welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And Anton, who is helping us from there. Yeah, it's cool having you in here, people. So, sir, before we start with this, because apparently we don't have many people uh, calling us yet, I remember that one of the main reasons for us to start this channel is because in Spanish we have tried this before. Nuestra Experiencia Atea, over there we have segments that are where I stream live, and people usually tend to avoid talking about their beliefs. But we have seen that in the USA, it's the opposite. People love talking about their beliefs and trying to convince others that they are kind of right. I That is what made us want to have our own version of this show in English. But have you seen that difference in culture? You who are living over there and who have been working with me in the South American version of the channel, what is your idea, or how do you see all of this, dear Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly is it's a lot easier to have that conversation in America. I mean, we are founded. We're a nation that is founded upon some principles, and one of them being, uh, the freedom of choosing or even not choosing a religion. And so, in South America, many people don't know, but when I lived in Colombia, Catholicism was still the religion of the state. So what that meant was, as a kid, part of like the documents that you gathered, right, like your birth certificate, passport, you needed the government would ask you to do your baptism certificate. That was one of those things that you had to have. So every family would then have to register to their local parish, and and so it was very real in the sense that most people, like, you had to be Catholic, but then that changed though. The Constitution was amended in the 90s, and where it became, where you can also. So it sort of depends what part of South America, what country you're in, whether or not it's safe to even talk about this. So now, where I live though in America is, I live in the South, so I'm in the what we consider the Bible Belt. I'd say the buckle of the Bible Belt, um, where I'm surrounded by seminaries. Just in this city, we have Dallas Seminary and we have Dallas Baptist Theological Seminary. These are two of the biggest seminaries in the United States, and so there's just a ton of Bible believers. There are a ton of churches everywhere. I mean, a lot, and they're all big churches. So I'm literally surrounded by Christianity. So even though, I'm in America where there's freedom of religion, I'm still sort of like have to be careful because of the people that I live in my community. So it depends. But I am glad to have been raised here because um, I wasn't really. I mean, I've had choices. I had choices growing up.
Cool. And well, with that out of the way, maybe we should talk about those choices. I mean, yeah, you were able to decide. I mean, you became a pastor, and we always mention that, right? That you decided to start following. You're kind of like Majula Hanthi. He also wanted to be the best religious. He was going to be a pastor as well, and he went to seminary just like you. And his story is very similar to yours. That in the end, you studied so much that you realize how silly everything in there was. Uh, I remember that in my experience, I just never got baptized by the Jehovah Witnesses. I have mentioned several times is because I couldn't believe that they could be against blood transfusion, which is something that science gave us in order to improve our lives. And if God was the one giving us the intelligence to fix that, not using this science was like spitting against God. That, I guess, was my inflection point and what made me realize that something was wrong. Did you have like one specific thing that made you realize that something was wrong, or was so many things that you don't have like one specific topic that made that difference in you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, interestingly though, my deconversion story is very similar in that sense to my conversion story. In that, when I was in church, I remember people would make a big deal of the day of conversion and what happened. Sort of like pointing back to a moment where like something really divine or majestic happened in someone, and like the spark, right? Uh, but I didn't really have that. For me, because I was basically raised in the Catholic Church, so I went to Catholic elementary and middle school where we had mass every week, and I grew up having the creedal statements memorized. I think most Christians I've met they don't know how to recite the creed. They have no idea because it's not part of the Christian evangelical tradition. But in the Catholic tradition, creedal statements are a big deal. And so I grew up learning and having a very sound theology even as a kid. You know, for me, the Trinity was very much dogma, and I understood it from a Catholic perspective. Later on, as a Christian, also understood it in that sense. I think both traditions are very similar in terms of how they see the Trinity, unlike the Jehovah's Witnesses, where there's no belief in the Trinity. So for me, it was sort of like a more of a realizing that that there was a great importance in knowing what the gospel uh, was, what the gospel meant, and how that was meaningful or how that applied to your life in terms of salvation, and the realizing of that aspect, that I think it's the main emphasis of evangelical Christianity, is that you have to get the gospel right. You have to believe the right thing. That's basically the main message of evangelical Christianity. When I got that, I felt like, that was my salvific moment. And then I became baptized as an adult. Now, going back to your question about deconversion, my deconstruction, for me, it was a series of things. I think um, it started while I was working as a pastor. As a pastor, I witnessed and I got to see more or less how ministry works very much as a business. As a pastor, I learned that um, most people, and most certainly the overall perspective from the church or within the church about the need of education, proper theological education, was very little. And when I learned that, when I experienced that, I was like very shocked. Like, what? You don't really care that people learn the right stuff? No, they're just trying to facilitate life. And nowadays it's all about the community, and it's, the gospel message is very much like this watered down, almost it almost it's all becoming everywhere a prosperity type of message. And so
Mm.
when I got to see that from within the church, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is weird. People don't care about believing the right stuff anymore, as long as they just come to church. And then also the need for money,
Oh.
the money thing and the numbers thing. Like, my job was essentially, um it had to do with the numbers. So if we had, like, X number of people sitting in the church pews, we're doing good. If there's less people, then what's going on, Mark? How come people, like, why are we kind of not so full? You know, it
Where is
becomes
that
like,
money going?
yeah, it's like, okay, so how do we improve? Like, I was in charge of making sure. So I thought I was gonna come in and be like, Bible on hand, let's talk about Jesus. What does the Bible teach? No. I need you to make sure that, like, the stage looks really nice, and we have themes going on, and it's decorated based on the sermon series, you know how we need to make sure that we have all the volunteers in place, and they're trained, the ushers, and like how we're gonna, um, like, there's like strategies, like when new people come to church, to retain them, to like engraft them, like to it's just like, people come to your store, you don't want them leaving without buying something, right? If you're a store owner, it's the same
Mhm.
thing with church. You've got a big building, and Texas does them well. Very expensive buildings, very expensive equipment, lighting, sound. That's where the money is going, because people nowadays are expecting a show, and they're expecting, high level music and quality and sound engineers. That's what it's all about. So that for me was very disappointing. It was very disappointing. It felt like, for what I had gone to seminary for, they made me an expert in the Bible. It was not relevant to my actual career as a pastor. Now, granted, there are all kinds of different denominations, and most certainly the most fundamentalist ones do put an emphasis on their teaching, but that's because they're enforcing fundamentalism. But I was not really into them. I was more into, like, um, non-denominational type of church. It was the last church that I worked in was non-denominational. So I don't know. That might have been the long version of your question. Did I even answer your question?
Yeah, of course you did. Totally. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, I want to greet Nathan, who is there in the chat, saying that for the average person in the street, religion is all about feelings and emotions. The truth of a creed does not tend to be the major issue of interest of 90% of people. Interesting. Also, I would like to send some words to Graciela, the mother of Franco Bianchi, who is most likely watching us. So, Graciela, your son loves you because he wants the world to know how awesome you are. So, you must have done a very good job with this guy. Thank you so much for bringing good people. We need more nice people in this world. So, good job, people. Keep up the good work and keep bringing nice people. We don't want more fundamentalists attacking atheists just because we don't believe. Oh, and then Nathan said, "It feels good. It
Yeah.
is true for me, and I will defend this. I will defend this faith." Well, yeah, I have seen it many times. I've heard that thing of, "Yeah, sure, it feels nice to me. Why do you care if it is true or not?" So, uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you heard? Yeah.
That's something else. That's something else. I mean, he brings up a good point. The average person in the street, religion is all about feelings, and I would say that just feelings in general are what most people I would consider is what they consider as like experiencing the presence of God. I think all that is related, and like emotions. And the thing about it is that in church, emotions can be they can be created. Emotions can be sort of harvested. And what I mean by that is music, for example, can set a certain mood that will make someone more likely to experience or be in touch with their emotions. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like when 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 you have a song that's in the during the worship service, and you are transitioning over onto like a prayer. You notice how many church services will like play very soft music that just has like a very nice bass line that just holding the note very long, and it's just sort of creating like this um, sort of like a trance like environment with the music you can create. We do know based on research that certain frequencies of sounds can evoke certain feelings and sensations, and the church services that have the means to, and when I mean the means, I mean like the equipment and the musicians to be able to do that, can do some very powerful things with the music alone. And so, you've got lots of people that are like truly seeking an experience, and they're going to feel that experience because the music can generate that experience. And what I want to say with that is this is all by design. And number two, um, what believers would consider secular music, bands that are non religious, do the same. And they create the same sort of um, sensations as well. Like, I don't know if you've had the chance to go to a U2 concert. I mean, it's like you're in a church service, but it's secular music, you know? Um,
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
so that's churches use that to their advantage, is what I'm trying to say. Or can use that to, and have used that to their advantage.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm reading here Nathan, who says that religion is essentially a great narrative which satisfies our desire of being able to negotiate with reality itself. Not in vain, religious people love to think that the supreme being behind reality is a personal being. Yes, it's a person, anthropological dude, capable of establishing a market of spiritual goods with us. Oh yeah, it's literally that. Negotiating with well, not with reality, but negotiating with what surrounds you in their minds. So if I'm good, I'm going to get something good. If I pray to this Lord, to this God, I will find my keys. And I guess that's the idea, negotiating. And I found my keys. How? Well, I started looking for them. Oh yeah, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
That's why we see Jesus in the ass of dogs and toasts.
You know that they make toasters now that can images.
Yeah,
I
I've
I
seen.
want one.
Well, you should buy one with my face on it. Imagine my face instead of Jesus. Much better.
Yeah, if we could design our own face, that would be cool.
Yeah, it totally would. So interesting the type of things that are created in the name of religion. I remember that when we were checking and reading the Bible and we saw Leviticus, how the the people of God are not allowed to do things on Saturdays. So that created a whole new market in which now there are machines that you can pre-program from the previous day, so they do everything on their own on Saturday. Do you remember about those? I'm sure you have more examples that I do.
The what kind of machine though?
Machines that work on their own on Saturdays, so people don't do anything. They don't even press the button.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, with automation, there's a whole market for people that obey the Sabbath to
Hmm.
kind of work around that. So I've seen my I have actually I have an oven that you can do this. Basically, you would be violating the Sabbath if you're like an Orthodox Jew. You would violate the Sabbath if you did any cooking, if you engaged in cooking. And it's as little as turning on the oven that would be considered cooking, because you could say, all right, I can do a casserole dish on Friday and have it all ready to go and just toss it in the oven on Saturday. Um, but then just by turning on the oven, you're going to violate the Sabbath. So the way to work around that is you add automation to the oven itself so that you don't have to literally physically turn the switch. You pre-program the oven to turn on at the time that you want it to turn on and turn off when you want it to turn off. And all you do is you stuff it in the oven, you close the oven, and because you did not turn on the switch, then you're sin free. And so it's little things like that you can benefit off nowadays if you're a legalistic Orthodox Jew or anyone else that has some sort of Sabbath law.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess there is a market for everything. That reminds me, like, religion was invented when the first con artist found the first fool, and that's how we kept escalating until nowadays. And mega churches, I have several times talked about those mega churches in Brazil, for example, that are surrounded by the poorest of the population. The worst of the cheesy neighborhoods that you can find, and right in the middle, you have this huge building that is, well, I saw it as a prison, but apparently they are more luxurious, like castles, and they are in the middle of poverty, total poverty. But you enter in that place and you see more riches than in the whole country. It's so sad, so terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. I mean, and you don't have to go that far. I think that um, there are many parishes, Catholic parishes, that I got. When I was a kid, I went to my parents moved us a lot, so we went to different Catholic churches, and those priests and the deacons. I think it's usually a priest and a deacon that actually live on premises. They live really comfortable,
Yep.
very
So for
comfortably. Yeah,
all
and it's
thanks to
almost
poor
like the
people.
church is built. It's on site. They live on site, but they've got their own quarters usually. Um,
Mhm.
and I'd imagine tax free and rent free.
Yeah, no, they have everything, and once again, everything thanks to very, very poor people. Well, our dear Anton here has a question for you. Could you talk about the Council of the Elohim? Is it true that Yahweh was the last one left in that council?
That's a good question. So regarding, if you don't know what Anton is referring to, there is a strong sense from reading the Old Testament, especially if you can read it in Hebrew, which I generally can, um, that the Hebrew Bible teaches, or there are remnants in the Hebrew Bible of what used to be a common belief among Jews, that it wasn't just Yahweh, that if you roll the clock back a few thousand years, Jews believed in, or people that lived in the area, in Israel, in Judah, which is part of Canaan, they all shared this Canaanite pantheon belief system before they were preaching a monotheistic God like they would do so today. And so this corresponded to the region of Canaan and what people that lived there believed. And Israel and Judah were part of that region of the world. So undeniably, this is part of their heritage, whether they affirm it or deny it today. And you can see it for yourself in the Bible that there used to be a belief in a greater God named El, and El was at the very top of this hierarchical, we call this a pantheon of different deities. So you've got the greater and the lesser deities. And El was known for having 70 sons or 70 sub deities, one of them who is Yahweh. And Yahweh is understood to be the deity that El gave Yahweh the region that corresponds to modern day Israel. And so that became, at some point in their history, the one and only deity. So they went from worshiping El and the gods of the pantheon to then a time where it was like, no, 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 no. It's not really this pantheon of gods. It's really just one God, and his name is Yahweh. And then later, with time, the use of the name Yahweh was sort of avoided, and it became this generic God. So you have the term like Hashem in modern day that simply means the name, and that's what they use in place of actually pronouncing Yahweh, and they do that for religious reasons. But also part of that is sort of like going from very complex, very well defined pantheon of gods with different names and different origins and different stories to more and more generic, to now where people are not really acknowledging Yahweh anymore. But Elohim was this divine council that was sort of like working alongside with Yahweh in determining things or in actually doing things. So, for example, Genesis, I think Genesis 1, the creation narrative, you notice Yahweh isn't there. You've got is Elohim, and it's in plural. It's let us
let us do this, let us make man. It is let us is because is the Elohim is the acting divine entity that's representing a council of sub deities that perhaps Yahweh was related to, or maybe perhaps they were related to El. But then over time, the Yahweh tradition and the El tradition with its Elohim tradition became mixed into one tradition. And that's how, it sort of gets lost in translation, because you'll never read those names in the English Bible. So I hope that
that's
answers.
where.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's where dishonesty in the translation of the Bible enters, because they take all these different names, all these different gods, and they translated them as God, Yahweh, the Lord, the Creator, and just use the real names. We know, well, now people usually don't know that those are different gods, and that's why they believe, oh yeah, the Bible is talking about only one specific God, which is nothing further from truth. So, yeah, for real, nothing further from truth than that. So sad, so silly, and I guess the Bible is just an instrument to manipulate people. So obviously, it has to start by lying to them and make them think that it says something that it doesn't really.
You're right. And for me, it was to me evidence of the evolution of even the concept of God present as, time went by. Because the Bible, like when things were put together, I would say for like the Hebrew Bible, they were not really going to be doing away with stuff. They would much rather keep it within their canon than to toss it away. So that's why you can still read Yahweh and Elohim and El Elyon in the Hebrew Bible today, but you won't read it in the English. And that's because there are more liberties being taken by the Christian translators than the Jewish translators, because Christians translators are, to me, exhibiting a bias in that they are deceitfully leaving out the fact that God has different names and sort of rebranding that as, the names of God, but they're more like attributes of God. When historically, it was never about attributes of God. The name Yahweh was the name of the deity. That was the name. That was the deity that revealed himself according to the Bible itself to Moses, for example. That was the name that he had. So we can't do away with that.
Oh,
Not
I was
that
going
easy.
to tell. I was going to tell you we had someone, but he came down. Apparently, it was Nathan BTQ. Let's wait for him once again. And sorry I interrupted you. But come on, sir. If we can, we are waiting for you.
Gotcha. So yeah, if you're watching us right now, I'm looking at, we've got some more viewers, and so welcome to Belief Battles. If you're wondering what this is, we are right now, Teo, we're hosts, and we are just chatting away, but really we're waiting for people to call, and we are taking calls where we're promoting dialogue with theists, with believers who wish to talk to ex-believers. In my case, I'm an ex-pastor and I went to seminary. And so I would love if you are a theist and you wish to make your case about Jesus, or you want to make your case about God, that you give us a call at 1-866-696-6698.
Wonderful. So, guys, we are waiting for you. Please let us know. And here we have a caller. Apparently, we have two of them. Let's go with the second one, because this one I have no idea who he is. You. Hello.
Oh, sorry, dude. Something just fell from the ceiling, man. Hey, how are y'all doing tonight?
Wonderfully. We're happy to have you here, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So they call me Granny, dude, and so it's called Belief Battles, and I wanna ask y'all how y'all feel about Cthulhu, dude, because I'm trying to get to that Cthulhu type level. You know what I mean? Like in the afterlife, like I kind of want to be like a demon.
So you believe that there is an afterlife and that there are demons. Is that it?
Yeah. Like, and I want to get to that Cthulhu level, dude. You know what I mean? Like where I control and manipulate minds, like with tentacles and shit.
That sounds awesome. If you get to know how to do that, please let me know. I would love to know about it.
Are you the animated man?
Yes, I am. I am
Oh, okay.
Teo el Ateo. So nice meeting you.
All right, cool, man. This is my first time watching. First time calling. I'll call back sometime. Like I said, it's not always Cthulhu with me. I don't usually go straight down the Cthulhu rabbit hole with people like right off rip. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's a good introduction.
I have to say, it is. It made an awesome impression on me.
All
So
right. Well, everybody follow Belief Battles out there. They seem like really nice gentlemen, and let's get them a few subscribers. You know what I mean? I can't do a lot. You know what I mean? I'm not full Cthulhu yet, but once I get to that Cthulhu level, dude, I'll hit you with all the subscribers I can.
you're so far my favorite caller, and you're the first one. So thank you so much. Thanks for making this call, sir. You are awesome.
All right. Hey, thank you. You guys have a great Memorial Day.
Oh, is it
Thank you.
is
I think it's
Memorial
still
Day
going
today?
on.
I had no idea. Okay, thank you so much, sir. And I'm going to return you to the queue. And now let's go with Nathan, who wants to tell an opinion. This is going to be interesting. Mr.
Hey,
Nathan, how are you?
hi there, guys. Mark, Theo, how are you?
I'm happy.
Hey, Nathan.
Do you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear us?
All right. Yes. Yes, it is my first time attempting to do a call by browser. 5 minutes ago, I didn't even knew that it was possible, but well, I'm here making the experiment.
Well, it's fun. So, sir, can you
There's
tell
a
us
first time for
your opinion?
Oh, all right. Regarding one of the issues mentioned during the past minutes about the nature of religion itself. I actually posted a small comment in the chat stating that, in my view, uh, and heavily inspired by religion sociologist Rodney Stark, religion is in itself a great narrative. Uh, in Spanish, they will say gran narrativa. In English, great narrative, which is essentially aimed to satisfy our human need and desire of being able to negotiate with reality itself, to manipulate reality itself in our favor. Uh, Not in vain, the classic theism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, and so on, uh, have always made a point of stating that the supreme being, which is supposed to be behind reality, who is supposed to be the ultimate source of reality, is a personal being. Not in vain, we deists. I'm a deist, by the way, for the audience. Uh, we tend to be seen as some kind of a joke. I have found many Christian believers, for example, who, when they are talking to me, and I say to them that I'm a deist, they say, "And what's the use? What's the utility of your God?" Because deism is precisely a belief which does not implies a practical and a specific set of moral rules, of life rules to play by. It's like atheist turned deist philosopher Anthony Flew said once, "I believe in a quite either impersonal or inoffensive God, a God which does not provide any kind of benefits, but at the same time does not provide any kind of harm neither." Well, we theists tend to be seen as as some kind of fellas who simply have an empty belief. I mean, because it does not imply a specific set of practical rules to live by.
Well, I guess if everybody had a god like that, it would be awesome because there would be no wars in the name of whatever god or who understands their god better than the other or something like that. So, yeah, I wish everyone was like that. Oh, I lost Mark. No, why? Okay, I will be alone in the meantime. Oh no, I
All
cannot
right.
do it. Sorry,
Oh,
You can
no,
hear
no,
me,
no.
right?
can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah. Just yes, yes, yes. Actually, like an Spanish philosopher, very popular in YouTube, called Aristarchus X, said exactly the same as you a couple of months ago. It's quite socially constructive belief, or at least it has the potential of being a socially constructive belief in the sense that it does not imply the belief in a God which is more similar in nature to Saddam Hussein or a cosmic Saddam Hussein, like Anthony Flew said once. Uh, Unlike the God of Christians, of Muslims, of radical Hinduists, and so on. Essentially, uh-huh. I thought you were going to say something. Just to close the idea. Uh, Essentially, being a deist is um, some form of mystification of the universe in a way. Not in vain, we deists are continually accused of being committers of reification fallacy, for example. Being a deist essentially is just equal to experiment that feeling, which was once described by Richard Dawkins, of feeling a certain reverence and admiration for nature, the God, universe, nature. You can feel overwhelmed by its beauty, by its complexity, but in the end, it is a non-interactive deity. It's like the oxygen God, no?
Mm,
This kind of mental exercises which state that theism is, in a way, equal to start worshiping the sun, for example, as a god. The sun as a god, the oxygen as a god. It's a equally mystic view of universe in the end. But well, not in vain, deists are commonly not seen as religious persons in the traditional sense.
that sounds great.
So
It's very interesting your idea of that god. Oops, I think I my audio is working weird. Dear
all
Mark,
right.
can you hear me?
I want to say something. I'm having a hard time, Nathan, because I'm getting a huge echo from him. So I'm having a hard time. I appreciate you for all this, Nathan. I really cannot understand.
Mm, I listened well to Teo, but Mark's voice sounded a bit interrupted.
Yeah, first time trying this is kind of weird, so we are kind of struggling with how the system works. Oh no,
You're
Mark
not. You're not.
is invisible. I think that Mark said that it's hard to he couldn't hear or understand what you were saying because of the echo. That we're still struggling with that. So we're having
Oh,
audio issues.
all right. See, yeah. Fear not. We will eventually get to use alternative platform with far more skill than the right.
And
But
also,
but
Mark, you can always watch the video again. This is all recorded, so
yeah.
Yeah.
But well, that will be all, guys. I'm hanging up. I need
thank you,
to.
sir. You are amazing. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Yeah. See you around, guys.
See
Theo,
you.
I will send you a Discord message later.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a threat.
Later.
Okay, sir. No
All
problem.
right. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. So in the chat, they are saying that apparently there is some kind of interruption in our microphones. That is interesting. But oh, Mark, can you hear me? Dear Mark, I cannot hear you. So Mark is either ignoring me or he has muted himself and I cannot hear him, which is
Okay.
not.
Can you hear?
Now I can hear you.
Okay,
Huh, we are really dealing with a lot in here right now, sir.
Yeah, I took out voice meter altogether, and I wanted to see if that made any difference. And it looks like it's making a difference.
I told
So
you, I told you that was the problem. But no, I am Mark. I know everything. Theo knows nothing. Yeah, what can the
yeah,
cartoon
right.
know?
No.
I know that it messed up my audio when I tried it. That's all I know.
Yeah, I couldn't really understand anything Nathan was saying. I'm so sorry about that, man. It sounded like it was very deep. That's for
Oh,
sure.
don't worry. Everything that he said can be summarized as I believe in something that cannot be proven or disproven, therefore it never interacts with us. And I said, okay, it's harmless. Good for you.
Yeah.
That is the summary. Right, Nathan? um, so it was voice meter, and now we can keep going without that problem.
Yeah. I want to see if we can get another caller to see if that'll fix the caller feedback that I was getting, the echo that I was getting too.
I'm sure it will. And even if we don't, we got 2 calls today. I don't remember the name of the first guy, but I just realized that we have to learn how to write the name of the people we're talking to. There is one way, but it's not compatible with this. But we will talk about that after the show. And I have no idea who he was. I thought he was just here for. I mean, yeah, of course he was here having fun, but I thought maybe he was one of our contacts. But I didn't recognize his voice, so
What
I
was he
don't think so.
saying that he's something about demons?
Oh
That
yeah,
he-
he wanted to summon Lord Cthulhu. You know, the baby that is right next to me. If we do this,
Oh, okay. Okay. So he was
yeah,
making
for
reference
people,
to.
this baby
Okay.
here under South America, he is Lord Cthulhu, and he wants his level of power. But you know what? That is a common misconception. Lord Cthulhu is so popular that people tend to believe that he's extremely powerful and all of that. And yes, he is, of course. But he's just a lesser messenger from the ancient gods. So compared to the real big, powerful gods out there, he's just popular. But that's it. It's just a wishy-washy thing that moves in that is sleeping underneath the ocean, and that's it. It's not that powerful. But once again, Lovecraft created unimaginable horror, so whatever that makes Cthulhu scared, that is way too powerful and creepy for us to even understand.
And he lives underwater.
Oh, he sleeps underwater. I don't even know if we can call that live. It's quite funny that in Lovecraft's story they throw a whole boat against him so they kind of destroy it going through its head, but then it regenerates. And I read that and it was like, really, dude, a vote was the strongest thing you had against this god. Whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where does that myth come from?
The stories of Lovecraft. This is actually called the Call of Cthulhu. It's awesome because the interesting thing about when Cthulhu is about to wake up is that artists who are the most sensitive people, and this includes painters, oh, I'm sure it could have included VTubers, of course, musicians, and people like that, they start getting crazy, having weird nightmares, dreams, or they just go crazy, and that's it.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, we have Mo in the chat. So Mo, if you want, you can join us. If you
Yeah,
have
come on up,
something
Mo.
interesting to say, you can either. And for everybody, remember, if you are in the USA, you can call us to 866-966-98. But if not, you can follow this URL, calling Studio Show Belief Battles. In the next show, we promise it's going to be in the description of the video, so you can click in there and follow it right away. And that is a good option in case you cannot call because either you don't have a phone or don't have money or you are outside the USA. Yeah, I always use that one because I'm outside of the USA.
Very nice.
Cool. So, do you think that we should start closing up right now? I mean, we have 6 people watching, which is awesome, but we don't have any more calls. We still have been talking for almost an hour. I feel fulfilled. I don't know about you.
I'm doing fine. I mean, it sounds like maybe we got this thing to finally work right now.
Yeah, without voice
So,
meter. I told you.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe Mo, do you have any beliefs? Does anyone have any beliefs that they wish to tell us about?
Oh, yeah, and Mo, please follow the URL that I'm writing in the chat. Just click it, and you are going to be sent to. Oh, where is it? There it is. You click on the URL, and you're going to be sent to a screen where you just need your microphone, and our screen caller is going to receive you there. So please, Mo, we are waiting for you. Vegan atheist is saying, I think humans know they are not very powerful beings, so they believe in magical beings that will bestow power upon them, and that's very compelling to many. Oh yeah, they all become avatars of Yahweh. Yeah, you're totally right, Vegan.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think that the possibility of some help that's beyond like human help can be very enticing, can be very appealing to people. You know, help me with the guy that I love, but he doesn't love me back.
Mm,
You know, help me with getting this job, or even something like, like I remember as a Catholic, everywhere you went, before you went somewhere, you had to do this. You get in the car, you do this, you get out of the car. I mean, it's like you're always, because you get in that habit of like, okay, I want that extra oomph in life, that extra, that bonus, that upgrade in life. Anything that can be upgraded, it's appealing to people.
good.
The question
And
is it true?
dear Mark,
Yeah.
your dream is becoming truth. We have Mo. He apparently believes in coffee, so Mo, tell us about this coffee thing that you believe in. How are you?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Mo? How's it going, buddy?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you
Can
hear
you hear
me?
us? Yes, dude, I can hear
Yes,
you.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Right. So, okay. So my belief is, like pretty neutral. Like my belief is, I believe in the God of coffee. So, and coffee is real. So, like, there you go.
For people who don't know, Mo is a regular troll who always joins me on my streams on Saturday in Spanish. So don't mind him. He's obviously being Mo as usual. Come on, dude, get serious. We are trying to have a nice show in here, and you come with
Uh,
your nest. Come on.
okay. Well, I've been pondering about where uh the belief come from. I guess my real question here is, do we believe in a God per se, or do we come to believe like later in life? Because that's a question that is like, I don't know, like to me that's pretty important, because like there are some apologetics, there are some apologists that says that we come with the belief in God, so
If that was true, if that was true, everybody would believe in the same God, not in a different version of
no,
different types of gods everywhere.
but that's the thing though. They didn't specify what God is it, right? They just tell us like, okay, so you have like intrinsically you have a believing God. They didn't mention like a Christian or a Muslim or I don't know, whoever,
Yeah,
So
but
I've been like,
yeah, but the point is, if you have a belief in God, which is not true, by the way, but even if it was, uh, if that was put there by a God, you would have no option but to believe in the real God, not in different versions of it that depends on your geographical location.
that's exactly what my point is. Because like, okay, so let me just explain you. They didn't say about like a Christian or a Catholic or like whatever, but we have an intrinsic thing to believe in something, whether that's a God or whether we call it like the universe or whether. So we have that intrinsically thing to call I don't know what. You know what I mean?
I think that you're committing an error there because you say we have this intrinsical thing. No, we don't. What we have is a society surrounding us that is giving us ideas which we pick up with time and we just get used to those ideas and we internalize them. But there is nothing that is intrinsically part of us in think of behavior. It's all because we are social creatures living surrounded uh, by other people, and if you had a small group of people without beliefs, they wouldn't start believing in a god just because. No, the best example are the Pirana in the Amazonas. I think that's how you pronounce them. They are a small
Yeah,
tribe that
piranha.
has what?
Yeah, piranha.
Yeah, they are a small tribe that has no god, and they don't need one. Actually, a pastor went there and ended up being an atheist because of them.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And to
All
me,
right.
and the only thing that I would add is if even if there was something,
Bye bye.
even if there was something intrinsic there, how would we know that we have that something? You see what I'm saying? Like, what would we look for? Like they tried. I think I don't know if in times past you heard about like the so-called God gene. Well, that was a whole made up thing.
Oh,
There's no God gene. I mean, and even if there was, what would that look like? Like how can you tell that there's a gene that has to do with God? That's I'm not aware of any way that you could demonstrate that we're born with a belief in God or anything like that.
cool. And Nathan, if you disagree with us, come and join the show. You have the the URL and the line. You can come up again. We are going to be waiting for you. And Kiramono, if you want to say something, of course you can join us. We want to hear your questions and we want to know what you're saying. So I guess I will let you handle the next one because I had to answer to Mo. So you take the next one, Mr. Apostate of Mind. And guys, we are waiting. Call us.
Do we have a next caller? I'm not sure. Do we have a next caller?
Actually, nope.
No. Okay.
Not yet, at least. So I guess we have to wait. Well, actually, you decide, sir. You take the.
Let's see.
You
I
take
mean,
commands
we're
now.
already an hour into it. I'd say if in the next minute or two, if we don't have any more calls, we could end it today and pick up again on Tuesday of next week.
Oh, that would be great.
Mhm. So if you have been thinking, but you hesitated on to call us, you'll get another opportunity next week. And those of you that perhaps came in a little late, Belief Battles, Belief Battles. We're a new call-in show, and we're here to take your calls with your evidence of the existence of God, or if you have any other beliefs that you wish to tell us why you believe on those beliefs, and let us respond to you. We are here for you every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Belief Battles.
Okay, your wish became reality. We have one more caller, so let's take him and let's finish with him. This is all yours, dear Mark.
All right. Welcome to Belief Battles. I am Mark Peralta, also known as Apostate of Mind. Who do I have the pleasure with me today?
Nathan, we're waiting for you. Wait, Nathan, can you hear Mark?
Yes,
Oh,
I can. Well, I can hear him, through, but through the YouTube window. Can you hear me, both of you?
I can hear you. Mark, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
So we are doing
Mm,
something weird with the. Probably your microphone is not connected there, dear Mark. So what
like
did
a,
you have? Oh, he
oh,
left.
just
He abandoned me. Okay, I will take your call. Nathan, you are negotiating with reality according to your thing. What does that mean?
oh yes, but that was the point of the post call. Just before you finish the current program, and to not steal too much of your time now that it is finishing, I just wanted to briefly comment the point that Mo, the great savior, the great crucified savior of the UFO kingdom, actually mentioned it regarding this natural thing. He mentioned it like that. I would prefer to call it a natural drive, a natural human drive for believing in gods, whether it be Yahweh or Asherah, Quetzalcoatl, Huitzilopochtli, Ahura Mazda, you call it. Eh, Actually, the skeptic, the American skeptic, Michael Shermer, in one of his books, which is called Why We Believe, something like that. I read it in Spanish. I do not recall the exact title in English, but that's the idea. Uh, he explains that religious beliefs actually seem to stem from a natural human drive for finding patterns and agency in nature. Just like in the past, the great English philosopher David Hume uh, and his modern uh, followers like to characterize human mind as as an association machine, a machine which essentially works making associations of ideas, of elements detected by the senses. Uh, Human mind uh, is naturally driven to to find patterns in reality.
Of course,
Uh,
because those patterns
in
helped us to survive. But we
yeah,
look for patterns. We tend to anthropomorphize nature around us. But that is when we
yes,
don't know what is going on in reality. Nowadays, that doesn't happen. Nowadays, it's just everything
yes,
is a social construct. And once again, the piranhas destroyed the idea that, oh, yeah, all humans are made to follow those patterns. They don't believe in gods. They realized that nature surrounding them is what is causing things. Someone once said, "Oh yeah, but they give water properties from life, which we live thanks to water, and they make it divine." It's not a real God. It's just that water give us life, and of course, it's very important for everybody. But it's not like they are
yes.
going to say that it's a water deity.
And actually, you mentioned the point I was going to state. While who while we who are not religious are actually capable mm, of turning on to say it in a certain way a critical thinking, and we are able to escape from that natural drive. We gotta keep in mind that the average person, the average Joe in the street, normally is not able to do it, uh, either by no. I was going to say that it could be by a lack of education, but no. Actually, there are highly intelligent people and with a lot of academic formation and academic credentials who actually believe in gods. Uh, as I think I agree with you. We agree in this point that we as humans are naturally driven to find patterns. Uh, I think that the point in which we disagree is the fact that at least this is the way I understood it, that you tend to think that religions are completely formed, created by social, by the social element, by nurture, we
Yeah,
would say.
nowadays, yeah.
Yes, I would say that religions are formed, well, are formed by both nature and nurture. I would say that this drive of, of finding patterns and attributing them agency, personality, is an is a natural component of human nature. Now, of course, there is a potent influence of the nurture component of the social thing, or like Michel Foucault would say, the historical a priori, the conditions in which each human is born, and which by, of course, no one chooses. But this nurture component is essentially limited, or at least I see it this way, to the form, to the outer form the religion and the belief adopts. But the core element, this deep drive for believing that the ultimate pattern in nature, which will be God's or God, uh, is ultimately rooted in nature versus the nurture component. In last instance, religion will be a composite product, a result of the interaction of both nature and nurture. But well, that was the idea I wanted to share.
So is that what you believe?
Sorry if I
Is
if I
that
committed some
is that what
uh,
you believe, Nathan, or is that
mistakes
you just
here
are you just
at the
giving
moment
us?
of trying to speak English. It has been a while since I
Oh,
last
sorry. Mark
attempted.
wants to know if that is what you believe, or is just a point that you want to make in favor of what Mo said.
I well personally I do defend this thesis that religion is a composite product uh, born from the interaction between nature, this drive I mentioned it earlier, quoting as a support element the book of Michael Shermer, and the nurture component, which is socialization, social learning. This is a thesis I actually defend, and well, I I mentioned it because it uh, fits neatly with the idea Mo mentioned that 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 the religious phenomenon is actually rooted in a natural thing, as he said.
Well, I already mentioned that I disagree with that, and I only see an evolutional component, which is that seeking patterns help us survive. But I will let Mark answer that. I recommend you to listen to the YouTube thing because apparently here you cannot hear it. And Mark, what do you have to
Yeah.
say to all of this?
So I mean, my attention just went directly to when you said that it was
Yes, it seems that the Mark will need to.
that it was a composite of both nature and nurture. So I wanted to know, what evidence do you have of this God in nature that you could affirm that?
So, Nathan, do you have any evidence of those claims about nature and nurture, or does it support any kind of gods in nature, like the ones that you follow in your deist point of view, or it's just that you have the information of those points
Yeah.
of view and that's it?
And how would you define God too? Because I
Yeah,
think you
some
kind of have to
evidence. I
define.
actually quoted this text. I
Oh,
mentioned
and
the
how you can define God, by the way, is Mark is saying under those
wait,
ideas.
wait, yes, two separate questions there. The first, as evidence, I quote the book mentioned by I mentioned it earlier by Michael Shermer, who is actually a skeptic. And we got to keep in mind that Shermer is not defending the existence of God at all. He's an atheist. He's simply describing what's the neuroscience and what's the psychology of religious belief itself. So that is the answer to the first question. To the second one, which Mark mentions, that is actually a great and very important question, which is addressed in a which is not enough addressed. What is God? How
Okay. Hey, we seem to have lost both Teo and Nathan. There he's back. Teo, we lost you. And Nathan, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if those in the on YouTube can.
Oh, sorry, Nathan. I had Nathan. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? There was a problem. I had a problem with the browser. I can. The last thing that you said that I know that people heard was you quoted the books, and what was the last idea? Can you restart the last idea, please?
Nathan, are you there? Can you hear him? I can't hear him.
Oh yeah, I can hear him. I wonder if people should be able to hear him as well. I hope so. Dear chat, can you hear Nathan?
Mo said that we lost Nathan.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
Anton
Mark.
can hear him. Okay.
Yeah, Mark, you're the only one who cannot hear him. I don't know why. Sorry, pal. Okay, continue, please, Nathan. Obviously. course. I would say Prosecco. Oh, Nathan, I'm going to Nathan, I'm going to stop you because apparently people has lost you. I have no idea why. I'm so sorry. Apparently, they cannot hear what you are saying. I was listening to it, but I'm going to invite you for the next show when we have kind of fixed these issues. Thank you so much for being here. And next time, we promise that we will do better. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much. And yes, people, that was Nathan. He's a nice guy, and he was he was saying so many interesting things. I'm sorry that I had a problem with the connection, and I messed up everything when I disappeared. But yes, it was an interesting show, dear Mark. I guess we have to listen to this show, see what we did right, fix what we did wrong, and next week we will be ready for everything.
That's right. Yeah, thank you, everybody. We're sorry for the technical issues, but we hope that you did get something from this episode. Even if all we've earned is a bit of mockery, because it looks like we don't know what we're doing, but we're trying, guys. So thank you for your patience. Those of you that I noticed, we gained some new subscribers. So if that's one of you, if that's you, thank you. Thank you for subscribing, and we hope that y'all tune in again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Thank you, guys. See you soon, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So we need the video. Where's the video? For some reason, I cannot find it. Okay.
Hello and welcome to the all-new call-in show, Belief Battles, a weekly show ready to take your calls about religion, atheism, and secularism, featuring co-hosts, atheist and international VTuber Teo el Ateo, and Mark Peralta, an ex-evangelical pastor, now atheist. So without further ado, Belief Battles.
Call 866-696-6698.